Well, hey everyone, welcome back to the cabin. I've actually stopped and picked up some plants today. Now this isn't all I'm going to plant. I've still got to pick up some strawberries, some more cabbage, some more tomato. I think I've got all the peppers I'm going to get, some more cucumber and beans and things like that. Anyway, I stopped and got a rapid test. This is one of the cheap ones. I think you can test it, there's 40 tests on the inside. You can test pH, P-test, K-test, and which is potassium, and then the nitrogen. So, no, I'm sorry, K-test is potash. P-test would be the phosphorus. Anyway, we're going to test our soil and see what we got that we're working with, and whatever the test says, we will get some supplements and adjust it accordingly. But yeah, I'm excited about planting season. I did get all of my onions put out. I planted 80 bulb onions, and I'm hoping that they will do well this year. Last year I had green onions, and I'm not going to have those this year. These other onions, I prefer those. Cook with them, put them on sandwiches and different things like that. So I just prefer the bulb onion. But anyway, this year was the first year that I was able to find some slips. I actually found them at Co-op. They didn't have any last year. None of the nurseries had any. So I was lucky this year. I actually found some. So anyway, we've got what we're going to start with right here. As soon as the weather warms up just a little bit, we'll get these stuck in the ground, which I'm thinking probably in about, maybe 4 or 5 days, maybe a week, something like that, just to make sure that we're getting lots of good warm weather. I think the last frost, or I don't think we're going to have any frost between now and getting close to summer. So hopefully, like I said, we'll get these in the ground and get them on their way. Well, I'm sure that you watched Monday's video where you seen me actually replanting these blackberries that I got from my neighbor. He's got a blackberry that is thornless, and they grow much larger, about the size of your thumb, and they're really sweet. Now, they don't grow in as much abundance like the wild blackberries do, but there's no thorns. You don't have to fight those to get in there to get the fruit or anything like that. So I planted, I think there's 8 of them in there, and some of them had green shoots on, so I don't know if I'm going to get anything this year or this fall, but primarily I'm just banking on next year for them to really, hopefully they're going to take off this year and then maybe produce something next year. But I do like blackberries. I'm not really fond of blueberries. I do like cherries, strawberries, things like that. But I think it would be, now I do have some strawberry plants that have been promised to me, and I probably will plant them down there in those large raised beds where I've been doing the hugelkultur mounds down there. I'll put those in the ground. Cherry tree, I don't know. We've got some wild cherry trees here, but I don't know that a cherry tree, now a lot of those, we had those around when I was real young up north. There's a lot of cherry trees. I don't know. I don't think that we ever, when we moved here, we tried our hand at a peach tree. It never did take. Every time it would blossom, we would get a frost. So we never got any peaches from that tree. We did have some luck with a pear tree, so that may be something that I'll look at planting here maybe next year. Got so much going on, it's just hard to, it was hard to catch up to be able to just get, you know, these beds back here ready to go with everything else that's going on up here. A lot of irons in the fire, that's for sure. But if the weather, as long as the weather holds out, I think that I can keep up. But as much rain as we've been getting lately, it's been hard to really get out here and do a whole lot, you know. And then sometimes I get help that comes up. Their day may be ruined, but you know, so is being able to do something out here and not be knee deep in muck. So anyway, but there's a lot still to do on the inside of the cabin. I'll be trying to finish out the kitchen, and then I'll probably be starting on the bathroom. And we have a satellite that we ordered through STARLINK, and we got confirmation that they are now available in this area, that we can actually get hooked up. So we ordered the satellite. It will be here. I'm anxious to see the upload speed. They say, you know, on all the reviews and things like that, they say it's just tremendous. It beats a lot of these other providers hands down. And I guess it's because, according to what we understand, is the satellite is about half the distance in orbit from the Earth that the other satellites are. So I guess that helps to increase the speed. Primarily for us, it would be upload speed, not download, you know, streaming or anything like that. We're concerned with the upload speed, because actually if I can get a video going and press upload to YouTube and then be able to come out here and work, and even if it takes longer than it does like when I go to my daughter's house, it's still okay, you know, because I can come back out here and work and go in there periodically and check on it. If it loads up, then there we go. I've saved myself, well, I'm generally gone about 6 hours Sunday afternoon after church over there, driving time included, and uploading videos for the week. So that would save me not only that time, but the wear and tear on the vehicle, plus gas at the prices they are now. Still higher than what, you know, we were paying a couple years ago. But yeah, we're excited about getting that satellite hooked up here and get it going and be able to tell you guys all about it and how it works. So the other new thing that we've got was the gas range that I had been looking for, and we actually, you know, because originally we decided that we were just going to put in a range top, but Jennifer was looking online one time and she found one with an oven, because I told her, I said, you know, I didn't really want anything, no gadgets or anything in the instrument panel, you know, on the stove. I just wanted something with knobs on it. And she was able to find one at Home Depot with an oven included, and the price was actually a little bit cheaper than just the range top we were looking at, which was you know, more of a higher end. But anyway, then my brother-in-law, he actually found one on Facebook that was brand new. The couple, they had bought it, they were remodeling their kitchen, and the woman of the house, she doesn't have a really good back, and she said that the built-in oven that she had was much higher, and that it would probably hurt her back if she was bending over to the oven at this new stove. So they decided to just go ahead and keep the one that they had and get rid of this one, and it was actually $200 cheaper than what we were looking at. So I'm really thankful. You know, God is good. I'm thankful for that, and you know, we saved $200 and got exactly what we were looking for. So I had to drive a little bit farther to get it. It was about an hour and 10 minutes, hour 15 minutes one way to pick it up, but you know, that's not a big deal. When you are from Texas or have lived in Texas, then you know that's just like going to the grocery store. So not a big deal. But anyway, I'm thinking about taking some of those wood chips that the power company left and kind of mulching around this, and I may have to take some of that deer netting and just kind of lay it on the ground to keep the chickens and the dogs away. So far they haven't actually dug around in there, but I'm thinking that at some point in time one of them will you know, get a little bit mischievous and may dig in there. So anyway, that's probably something that I'm going to have to do. Alright, what about the root cellar that I've got dug now behind me here? I was going to jump on it because, you know, harvest season is going to be upon us before I get that new barn built, or that new storage multi-building, whatever you want to call it, get it built. So I was talking with my kids about it, and I said, you know, do I go ahead and start on this, or do I actually start on that down there? Because my idea was to be able to mount the solar panels up on the roof of the new building. So taking that into consideration, which one would I actually need the most priority wise, and it may be the larger building. Now my son did, I don't know if you can see the gnats, but they are very thick. Patrick suggested that I work a couple of weeks on this and then work a couple of weeks on that down there. Don't really know yet how I'm going to approach that. I do need to get the root cellar done. Yes, I do. But my sister's also got one that's actually not in use that my grandfather built. So that may be something that I actually use while I work on that to get the solar panels up. And this may end up being a project for next year. Not really sure. Depends on as well how much extra help you know, that family can offer, you know, or anyone that actually comes up here. But you know, I don't know. Like I said, there's so many projects that are going on, and generally, you know, I'm here most of the time by myself, so I have to determine what's going to be the priority, or if it's a major deal, you know, then any help that came up here we would certainly be working on that. But anyway, we're gonna get things put together, and my goodness at the gnats. We're going to get everything put together. It's coming together slowly, so hope you all are enjoying the process along with us. Well, I thought I would answer some questions here, or comments, talk about some of the comments. This one says, love the countertops. I knew the epoxy glaze would look good. I love the depth epoxy gives the wood. Yeah, I mean, it really turned out good. Actually, it turned out better than I thought it would. I wished I'd have bought 2 of them and give it another coat. Of course, I don't think it's too late to do it. But yeah, I would definitely use it again. It's something that glaze epoxy is something that really can make the wood pop. Had a comment here, glad to see you letting the chickens and turkeys roam. Well, one thing about living out in the woods like this, I've already lost 3 of them. Not really sure what's getting them. I found one down in the hollow down there, the feathers. That was all that was left. No bones, nothing. Not sure if it's some of the, if we have a fox that's coming up here getting them, if it's a coyote, if it's, we've got some feral hawks that live in this area here. I don't think that would be on their menu, because I think that the chicken is much too large for them. They go for more of a smaller rodent. But yeah, I've lost 3 hens, so the first of the month at the farmer's market I'll probably be trying to get at least maybe a half a dozen more and bringing them up here. But I guess I'm going to go down there and get my game cameras, bring them up here, and set them up there around the chicken house so that I can determine you know, what might be around. Now these chickens, they got gone in broad daylight. So like I said, not really sure what happened, but we'll put the cameras up and see, you know, if we can determine what might be hanging around here that might have chicken on the menu. Another guy wrote and said, hey Richard, I've noticed that you're only putting a coating on one side of your boards. Now, he was talking about like the oil that I put on the stain, basically, which did stain it, but it was oil that did it. Put on everything on the outside. He was talking primarily in here that it's a good idea to put something on both sides, especially on the inside. When you're making furniture and cabinetry and things like that, that it doesn't actually have to be the same. As long as it's some sort of a sealer, it can be much cheaper, but that way it keeps it from warping. Now, I never thought about that, but that could be very well true, to be able to kind of keep the wood, you know, similar on both sides. In other words, where heat or whatever doesn't just draw on one side, it would put, I guess, if it was going to dry, it's going to dry and or warp, you know, that it would try to do it evenly, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So hopefully you wouldn't end up with as bad a warp if something that you had was going to warp. But you know, I never thought about that. That's a good tip right there. Someone else wrote and said, a tall bronze black faucet for filling pots or buckets would look good. I do agree. What I would like to find is one of those old-timey hand pumps where you just lift it up and the water comes out and then you shut it off. That's what I would really like to have. So I'm going to be on the lookout for that, but we'll just see what we end up with. Another person writes, says, love the countertop and the shelves that match the color. They did. They actually matched. Warm looking and great contrast to the dark walls. Wish I had that much space in my kitchen. I was going to put a, I don't know, what do you call that? An island, you know, out there in the middle, but then I decided against it because it would just start cramping my style based on the way that I've made the whole cabin. But yeah, it turned out really great. Here's another one that says, good morning. Turned out great. Looks like it was made for your cabin, and it does. I mean, it just went right with everything else. Stay safe. We appreciate all these comments, all the emails, all of the live streams that we do that people tune into. I tell you what, it just makes us feel so good about what we're trying to do up here. Not only that, but documenting it and time to scratch. Documenting it to load it up to you guys so that you can follow us on the journey. It means a great deal to us. I love the countertop. Was thinking of doing the same in the bathroom. Now I think I can do it myself. Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, if I can do it, anybody can do it, because that was the first time me doing it, and I didn't even have the proper equipment. When I got to reading, it talked about brush and stuff like that. All I had was that little plastic trowel, but it still, it turned out great. Then I had a person talking about the jars that they got a couple from their great grandma, that the lid is actually made out of zinc with porcelain. I guess it could be, because it looks like a really dark type of a metal. Doesn't look like it's really, really hard, like metal, but it is, I guess the predecessor to the mason jars or the mason lids that we put on them today, because they have that rubber gasket in there. But anyway, it was a great novelty. I was happy to get it so that I can set it up here in the cabin. And another comment says, you should have your daughter and her family move in with you on the homestead. Well, that would be great, but it would be a little bit far for her to drive to work, because I would be adding probably another 20 minutes onto what she already drives, if not more. But no, they're happy where they're at. Maybe someday they might decide to build a house out here. We'll just have to wait and see. There's been a little bit of talk about it, but I don't think that they're going to do it anytime soon. Then another person commented on the gravy, said, my mother only made water gravy when money was short and couldn't afford milk, but we still loved it and didn't complain. We learned early on that we were blessed to have whatever we did, and that's the God's honest truth. Whatever you have, you need to feel blessed, because there are other people that don't have as much. I have, been blessed my whole life. I'm very thankful. I don't think that I would trade any of it with any of the ups and downs, because I think that goes to make you who you are. It makes you stronger, and it also gives you insight into, not doing the same, repeatedly not doing the same thing over again. But, and two, depends on how you look at things, because, there's an old saying that through every adversity there's a seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. So if you look at it as a problem, maybe you should stand back and look at it from another angle. It could be a blessing in disguise. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox right now. We'll get back to the comments right here. Good morning. Now this one's talking about when Jennifer made the confession of driving my Trans Am in the mall parking lot. Said, oh, Jennifer, was that a WS6 Firebird? Yes, it was. It had the WS6 in it, and it was a 6-speed. I put a skip shift eliminator, because at a certain speed, if you didn't have like a lot more RPMs going, it would want to stick, So anyway, I put something in there where I could actually go from maybe first to third if I wanted to, because the first couple of gears were
to me, I felt like they were geared down pretty low. But I'll tell you what, that's the only car I ever had that the seats were like they were molded to fit you. I didn't like the fact, or I wouldn't now like the fact that I felt like I was riding on the ground, but I was much younger at that time. But you know, the 6-speed was a lot of fun. It got great gas mileage if you were out on the open road. The RPMs were on the low end, and you could put that thing in 6th gear and just cruise. But yeah, it was a pretty fast car. But yeah, I still wish I had that car today, because it was the last year that Pontiac was actually in business when I bought that car. It was brand new, so it would be the last Trans Am ever produced, and it would be worth a lot of money. But you know, that's what happens, hindsight. But anyway, yes, it was a WS6 2001 black Trans Am with T-tops and a monsoon stereo, which was a 12 CD. Great car. Well, folks, that's all the ones that I had marked down to talk about. Do appreciate you stopping by and hanging out with us up here at the cabin while we're trying to develop the homestead. If you're new to this channel, be sure and go check out Smoky Mountain Outpost. That's our main channel where we do all the work. We hope that you guys are enjoying this great spring. We hope that everybody's well. We want to wish you a great day. You all take care, and we look forward to seeing you back up here at the cabin again next time.